Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, welcome to everyone joining. I am so excited about this. Hey, friends. Hi, well, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Asya. I am part of Instagram's policy programs team, where I focus on our programming supporting small businesses here at Instagram. I'm just going to add a quick title to today's conversation. Hi. Hi, everyone. Happy Women's History Month. All right. Well, I just want to welcome everyone for coming today. Like I said, my name is Asya, and I'm part of Instagram's policy programs team, where I support our work with small businesses on the platform. Today, I am lucky enough to have a conversation with some incredible women representing small businesses and industry partners and media. So I'm going to be joined in just a little bit with friends from Nawbo National, as well as Bustle, and the founder of Pink Moon. So throughout March, we've been celebrating women, we've been celebrating female founders, and doing so by highlighting some of the incredible stories from our community. So we've launched what was called the Female Founders Series and have just been spotlighting women-owned small businesses. So go check out Bustle, check out Bustle UK, and check out some of the reels that they've put together, showing some of the stories of the incredible women entrepreneurs that have really just changed the game and have been using Instagram in just really creative ways. At the end of today's conversation, we're going to have a really special surprise that we're going to share with everyone tuning in. So I encourage you to stay till the end. And with that, I'm going to invite our panelists to join our conversation. So bear with me just 1 minute while I do that. All right. Let's just give them just a minute to join. Amazing.
Hi.
Hi, Margaret. Hi, Lynn. Hey, we've got everyone. I feel like this never happens this seamlessly. How are you all doing?
Great.
Awesome.
Good.
We had a really great guide, so thank you so much.
Awesome. Lynn, I'm loving the florals. It's just great.
Yeah, celebrating spring.
Absolutely. Yes. Happy spring. And happy sort of end of Women's History Month, but we all know that it's always Women's History Month. Every day we're celebrating women and we're celebrating female founders. So I just want to thank you all so much for joining me today. Thanks everyone for tuning in. So I think we can go ahead and get started. I would love to just kind of go around and have you all introduce yourselves. Maybe share who you are and the business or organization that you're with. Maybe we can start just kind of going through how I see you all on the screen with Lynn, then Jess, and then Margaret.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lynn, and I'm the founder and CEO of Pink Moon. Pink Moon is based in New York City, and we're an inclusive well-care space and community created by women for women through every phase of life. And so we have an online shop currently where we curate exclusively female-founded sustainable self-care, wellness, and lifestyle brands, including our own in-house brand, Pink Moon. And our creation is filled with high-performing products that are considerate of different needs and essentially help women feel like their best selves.
Amazing.
Awesome. I love that. Jess, you want to say hi?
Hi, I am Jessica Andrews. I am the Deputy Fashion Editor at Bustle, which means I get to shop for a living. It's pretty fun. But I cover all things fashion from red carpet roundups to interviews with designers and small business owners. And one thing I really love about Bustle is just how much they value inclusivity, how much they value small businesses, and that really informs our content. So we've done things like Small Business Salute, which is a package where we interview different small business founders who are struggling during COVID. And then, of course, our Female Founder Spotlight that we partner with you guys to do, where we celebrate women-owned businesses. So it's really great to be a part of a publication like this.
Awesome. And I'm so glad you shared what fashion editor means, because to me it sounds like the coolest job in the world. And I was like, I hope she can explain to us exactly what that means. So thank you.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. I'm Margaret Brown, and I am the digital strategist for Nawbo National. And Nawbo National is over 45 years old, and we have been on the front lines supporting women-owned businesses since before women-owned businesses had any support at all. So it's awesome to be here.
That's so great. I'm so excited you're here. You know, funny enough, my very, very first job out of college, I worked for a woman-owned business, and I got to attend some Nawbo sort of local meetings, and I was just like so inspired. And it's just wonderful that this all comes full circle, and we're all here talking today. So maybe Lynn, we can start with you. You know, it seems that in just you know, since 2017, when you started your brand, you've grown so much. Your business has developed. I know that you work with so many different brands, and then also have your own kind of in-house brand. So can you sort of walk us through kind of the journey, maybe since founding the company, and kind of how it's grown, navigating so much change? Would just kind of love to hear your story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I originally launched Pink Moon almost 4 years ago, after working in the eco beauty wellness space for about 6 years and gaining a lot of experience growing small brands into global brands. And so Pink Moon did first launch as a consultancy, where I was working exclusively with female founded startups, mostly in the beauty and wellness space, and helping them grow their digital strategy, social media, business development, so launching the brand into various markets across the world, and really being their right hand and just supporting them along the way. Because, you know, being an entrepreneur, it's a one woman show, is quite a journey. So really being part of their journey and growing their brand. And then it wasn't until the summer of 2019 when I had started to think about how I wanted to expand my mission of building a more inclusive and mindful, compassionate beauty industry. Because there is a lot of noise in beauty industry, where there's a lot of shaming, a lot of exclusion, a lot of, you know, ignoring women. So I really wanted to help transform that narrative. And so I started thinking about building a concept around the second Pink Moon business, which I just launched, which is the online retail store. I actually was initially planning to open a physical space in Manhattan. That was my plan pre-COVID, of course. And that was what I was building. I was working on opening a community and beauty space in the Upper West Side of Manhattan, because I saw a gap in the market where there's no wellness space for the women living in that neighborhood. I was living there as well. I lived there for about 3 years. And so that was my original plan. And then because of COVID, I had to shift my model and go digital. So I launched the online store last summer, and it has the growth has been crazy, and it almost unexpected, because I know during COVID a lot of people lost their jobs, and it was a really hard time for everyone, including myself, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so I really wanted to open this space to be an inclusive, supportive space for women, and support them along their self-care journey, helping them, inspire genuine self-love. Because for me personally, taking care of myself and loving myself was very transformative. I had, gone out of a really toxic relationship right before I launched Pink Moon in 2017. And that was kind of the, I guess, drive for starting my own business, because I really wanted to do something for myself when I had been in this relationship that was codependent and toxic, and that really held me back. And so, yeah, so right now we're in the online space, and we also do holistic wellness workshops every month with various BIPOC holistic practitioners. And then I'm also still trying to open this physical space because I think it's, you know, it's really much needed, and not just the Upper West Side, but a lot of communities around the world. There's, you know, a lot of women who don't have this, you know, community space. And so we'd really love to spread our mission worldwide.
Yeah, well, that's great. I mean, it's certainly inspiring how much you've been able to do over the course of the last few years, and you know, just weaving in your mission and that self-love, I think is so important. I think, you know, for me, one of my favorite parts about Instagram is that the community is so huge that you can really find your people and really connect with the people that you want to connect with on Instagram. I think since November, we've seen something like 20% increase in business profiles that mention women-owned businesses, which I know you have on yours as well. So I think that kind of allows people who want to think strategically about, you know, how they're spending their money and which businesses they're supporting. It's kind of allowed people to do that. So thanks for all that you do. You know, you mentioned COVID. I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about kind of what the last year has been like, and kind of how it's shifted everything that we do and how we think about things. I would love to hear from all of you, not really anyone in specific, but you know, what has the last year kind of been like for you, maybe personally as well as professionally, and for your communities? I always think that it's interesting to hear what's been surprising to people in the last year. I think it's been crazy how we've all, you know, managed to work from home. It's great to see, you know, everyone in their elements. So we'd just kind of love to hear a little bit about what the last year has been like, and anything you'd like to share.
Well, I can start. From a media perspective, you know, I've always said like it pays to be flexible, just in our industry in general. And I feel like COVID proved that more than anything. Not only did we have to shift, as you mentioned, to working from home and, you know, not being in an office space, but our content had to change dramatically. And I really credit our lifestyle team because they did a lot of coverage around the virus and how we can protect ourselves and keep each other safe, which really is the priority, of course. But from a fashion perspective, I was interested in the way that our day-to-day lives changed. You know, I know a lot of people have been living in their sweats. So you're not wearing heels anymore, you're not wearing coats, and it really, you know, your everyday wardrobe is completely different. But then also looking at the business of fashion, how it impacts small businesses. And, you know, I really love the fashion industry. I've loved it since I was a little girl, and I'm really passionate about helping brands succeed. So once brands started to take a hit because of COVID, we thought, well, how can we stand in the gap and really help these brands at a time that's really uncertain and difficult for their business? And I really love Bustle's Small Business Roots program for that. We were able to like interview different designers and really give them a platform and celebrate what they were doing. And I noticed that like readers really wanted to learn the story behind these brands, you know, like not just about a pretty product or, you know, a shoe or a lipstick. Like really it's about the founder and what inspires her, right? What made her want to start her brand. And, you know, just like you said, like what, you know, challenges did she overcome to really launch her brand? So when we were able to really spotlight that through on bustle.com, but also through this female founder spotlight series, I've just been amazed at the response, right? Like people really connect with our founders and they want to support them during this time and beyond. So it's really inspiring to me to see the community kind of rise up and uplift each other during this time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I can share with you some things from the Nawbo perspective, and I appreciate both of what you both have mentioned, and the support that you're giving to women, because aside from running businesses, it is no secret that you know, and I love men, you know, I'm married to a man, I love men, but women do tend to take on more of the caretaking responsibilities of children, elderly parents, aging relatives, and so on and so forth. So in addition to their businesses during COVID, they also had to be flexible with their families. And so what we saw a lot of companies, a lot of our members, they still struggled. You know, they definitely took advantage when they could of the EIDL and the PPP. And just so everyone knows, we do have representation on the Hill for women business owners through Nawbo National. So that is something that we are very passionate about and advocating for women. So even if you're a woman-owned business and you've never heard of Nawbo, we are still advocating for you and you don't even know it. So we're very proud of that. But, you know, some things that we did internally was we immediately went into virtual mode, and we immediately added virtual programming. And what we saw was a diverse group of women come to Nawbo because it was online and now it was more accessible.
Yeah.
So we've always had online programming, but what we saw was that people actually want to attend, but in person is almost so impossible with all of these other things on your plate. Like you were saying, it's like you're running a business by yourself or even with a small team, it's like hard to get away. So as far as COVID went, yes, it's been a challenge, but what we've seen is the resiliency, we've seen community, and we've just seen the power behind our members and women across not only the nation, but the country. We just finished our global event last week, and I'm just really proud. And I get to stand behind the lens and behind the social media, but I am, you know, I take note of everything. I'm very, you know, I'm looking forward to just connecting with both of you and just connecting more with Instagram for Business, because I know how important that is. And I will just say personally, COVID was a time for me. It was very difficult. I've been away from family for a very long time, as we all have. But I really tended to myself. I gave myself a lot of self-care, I reset my body and what I'm eating. And this to me, I took this time to just hit reset.
Yeah, well, I think we can definitely all, you know, empathize with that and check out Pink Moon for more self-care products and advice. So thank you all for sharing that. I want to go back to something, Jess, that you were saying. And actually, let me ask you, do you prefer Jess or Jessica?
Oh, Jess is fine. Everyone calls me Jess. So
okay. Well, you know, me being Asya, I've heard every iteration possible of my name. So I always like to ask people, you know, what they prefer. But, you know, you were mentioning how the content on Bustle has had to change. And, you know, we've all kind of talked a little bit about how people are spending more time online. So I'm just kind of curious about how you've been using, you know, Instagram and social media in general during, you know, the last year, but also, you know, during transitional periods. I'm curious both, you know, personally as well as Bustle, how you've seen your community use Instagram differently. I know that Bustle is always on top of it and using Instagram in such cool ways. I love checking out your reels, especially the reels that Bustle and Bustle UK did for the Female Founder series. You guys are using stories and guides in really unique and creative ways. So just curious for your perspective there.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting for you to ask because, you know, if I was to say like one lifeline that we've really relied on, whether it's media or just, you know, the average person, it really has been social media. And with Facebook and Instagram, it's a way for us to stay connected. But I think that was like even more pronounced during this time where you can't physically see people. I was joking because, you know, I was like sad when I had my first quarantine birthday, but my friends and I actually got together and we did a reel like of us all dancing on my personal page with Dress Up with Jess. But it was just, you know, this idea of like community and sisterhood that we're able to accomplish, even if we're not actually together. And that's one of the reasons I really, really love Instagram specifically. But with Bustle, we've seen like such great engagement and feedback to the reels we've done in the Female Founder series and beyond. And anytime we do like a guide, people really love having that information like in the palm of their hand. But it's just a way to reach people where they're at and make them feel less alone, right? And then also like spotlighting designers. I always say like Instagram is so great for discovery, right? It's like where I find all these like small businesses, these up and coming brands that I wouldn't have found discovered otherwise. And I'm always saving them. Like I have like a board just for them and then going back and even doing interviews on Bustle later. So I think that our audience uses it the same way. And we've been able to introduce a lot of brands, a lot of small businesses, a lot of female founders using those reels and using those guides and really like being able to share with our platform. And they love it and they love to shop. Like a lot of them will actually go out and support these brands, buy the products and, you know, mention us when they buy them. So it's been really great to connect with our audience this way.
Yeah, that's awesome. I can't wait to check out your reel of you and your friends dancing.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I think you're totally right. I mean, I think the last I heard was that something like 90% of people on Instagram follow a brand. And I think what you're saying is totally right. They want to learn those stories. They want to know who's kind of behind these brands. And so we hear that and we're always trying to evolve Instagram to meet those needs. So we have a shopping tab now, you know, that you can check out and it kind of provides personalized recommendations to you. As well as editorial picks from our @shop account, which if you all or anyone tuning in isn't following, I highly encourage you to follow our @shop account. I think they have a guide now on some awesome women-owned businesses. And yeah, I think people love kind of the discovery of it all. So I want to go back, Margaret, to some of the things that you were talking about and kind of how Nawbo has built this support system for women-owned businesses. I know that Nawbo does so much to advocate for women-owned businesses and to provide resources. So just kind of curious, you know, what you all have been hearing from the community of women-owned businesses. And I know you were saying that Nawbo has shifted to more online programming, but just kind of want to hear a little bit about what Nawbo has been doing recently and hearing from women business owners and maybe what some of those biggest pressing needs are.
Yes, awesome. And just, I want to say something to your 90% stat. It's like if any business owner, Nawbo members, I've invited several of them here, I've shouted it from the rooftops, that it's so important that you are putting content on Instagram because people want to know you. They don't just want to know about your, you know, how great your product is. They do want to know that story behind it. And it's just, it's a game changer. So, okay, so Nawbo not only supports women business owners in advocacy, and to be honest with you, when I joined Nawbo almost 10 years ago as a person, as a business, the advocacy part was actually my least care. I didn't really care about that because I wasn't here 45 years ago when I needed someone advocating for me. I have it all. I'm allowed to get a credit card. I'm allowed to get a line of credit for my business, et cetera, et cetera. What Nawbo also does in addition to advocacy is brings together education and community with all levels of business. People who have been in business for 20 years, 10 years, 30 years, sold a business. What we've seen is that people at all levels of business, what they want is community. Someone said it in this live that people they don't want to be alone. And so that's something that we say is that you don't have to do business ownership alone. And believe it or not, there are millions across the country who own businesses and who are doing it alone. And what you learn when you're surrounding yourself with people who have been in business for 3 years, 5 years, 50 years, and can shed some light on hiring and taxes and buying your first building and buying automobiles and firing. I mean, all of the things that you need to do as a business owner. being able to learn from people who came before you is amazing. And so that's another element that Nawbo brings to the table, is that I remember coming in as a very young entrepreneur, very green, did not know anything, but I was surrounded by women who welcomed me and gave me a seat at the table, demanded nothing out of me, but shared so much of their resources. And then there came that time where I blossomed and I was able to be part of that conversation. And so what I call Nawbo the big leagues when it comes to business ownership. It is a national membership with a local experience in some cities, but really you lean on that national experience.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing all that. And, you know, that kind of made me think of all the steps that go into building your business and just starting out, or also, you know, growing it. If you're at a point, like Lynn was saying, where it's time to kind of expand and add more products. It's so great to know that Nawbo is there. And it kind of actually reminds me one of the conversations we had earlier in the month with Tiffany from Bustle and Lindsay. I think Lindsay was saying that you go brick by brick. It's just like building a house when it comes to a business. You take it step by step, and eventually you're gonna, you know, build a beautiful house, but it kind of takes that step by step process. So I know we're kind of reaching towards the end of our conversation, but I wanted to ask one more question to the group. You know, the theme of this whole month and all the programming and all the lives and reels that we've done has really been the female founders spotlight, and we've been finding so much inspiration from our communities and from women. So I just want to see and open it up to all of you what advice you have for female founders, whether it's just starting out or later in the game. And then I also want to hear from each of you one of your favorite women-owned small businesses to kind of give them a little plug and hopefully show some love to some of those small businesses.
Well, I can start. One piece of advice I always give to small businesses is to really tell your story. And I mentioned this earlier, but our readers always connect to personal stories. They want to know who the founder is, you know, where you're from, what your experience has been like building a business, what inspires you. Like, people want to connect with the human behind the brand. So it's really not just about marketing or selling products, but really storytelling and really meeting people on a human level and having something in your story that resonates with theirs. And I want to shout out two small brands. So first, Be Claude, which is, they did my nails.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I
And I
love
really
this.
love it because, you know, it's been hard to get to a salon, obviously, with COVID. They're all shut down. And I mean, it takes you like 5 minutes to do it, so quick, but just something that brings you joy and makes you feel good about your appearance. And they're on Instagram at b.claude. It's a Black-owned business. And then also Kamoon, I wanted to shout out, who was actually featured in one of our reels, one of our female founder spotlight reels. But they do nude accessories and they do various nudes. So from every skin tone, from Lupita to Nicole Kidman, is represented in their range. And I think that's so important because, you know, it was very hard for me to find a nude shoe that actually worked with my skin tone for a long time. So I love small businesses like that that are really leading the way in the market and pushing for more inclusivity.
I love that.
Yeah.
For me, I'm always telling entrepreneurs to just go for it. Don't let fear or anything stop you. Because for me, when I was starting my business, I had a lot of fear. I was leaving, you know, a salaried job and had just moved into my own apartment. And, you know, there were a lot of factors that were, you know, kind of in the back of my mind. I was like, I don't know if I can do this. And, you know, my parents were also like, do you want to go to grad school? Like, do you want to do something else? Do you want to move back home and figure it out? And so there were a lot of, you know, there's a lot of noise. And for me, I just kept going because I, you know, kept thinking about what I wanted for myself and what I wanted for my life. And one of my life missions is to just, you know, bring joy to my life every day. And just the thought of having my own business, you know, brought a lot of joy to me. And even though, yeah, it is very challenging, there are a lot of ups and downs, and every day is not going to be perfect. And some days there's just, you know, you're going to be on the computer 12, 14 hours a day. But, Yeah, so I would tell everyone, if you have a business idea, just go for it. Don't let anything stop you. And then one of my favorite women-owned businesses is Rue St. Paul. It's an Asian-owned sustainable lifestyle fashion store. They have an online store, and their Instagram handles at Rue St. Paul. And they also have a shop, a boutique in Brooklyn.
Awesome. So I would say this is great advice. I would take it all. But lastly, I would say get your community, your business community. Once you start your business, you have your friends, but they won't understand the new pressures in your life, the new highs, the new lows. So definitely find your community. And as they say, don't always be the smartest person in the room. You definitely want to surround yourself with people who have more experience and be willing to learn from them. And so that's my best advice. And second, I would say one of my favorite woman-owned brands is Piper Wai. They are a deodorant company located in New York, and it's at Piper, Piperwai. I love their product. My whole family uses it. It's natural deodorant and other things, and they're always coming up with something new. And the last woman-owned business I want to mention is Cloth and Paper. And they manufacture planner accessories, and they are beautiful, and they are located on the East Coast, but it's at Cloth and Paper.
Thank you so much. That was all really, really awesome advice. I think one of the other things that we heard throughout the month was that, you know, we wear so many hats as women. And Margaret, I think you were talking about this too. You know, we're working, but also have responsibilities at home and with friends and everything. So I think, you know, just remembering that we're all human at the end of the day. We're not just one thing. We have so many different intersections, and just kind of remembering that. So I want to thank all of you so much for joining me and for joining all of us. I did promise at the very beginning that we'd have a surprise for everyone that was tuning in. So Jess, maybe I'll let you share what we're going to be launching at the end of this conversation today.
Yes, so I'm so excited to share this news. So with our small business program and our female founder spotlight, one thing we want to do is make sure that there are even more businesses and more brands we can spotlight next year. And our way to do that is to launch a guide partnering with Instagram for Business and Nawbo. So we're going to share a bunch of tips and recommended resources from Nawbo for female founders, no matter where you're at, if you're in your journey, whether you're starting, whether you already have a business. You will love this guide. It's going to be full of resources from finance tips to social media tips to community building, which we mentioned a lot during this conversation. So really informational guide for business owners. And then for any viewers across the pond, because we can't forget our UK family, so we'll have a UK version of the guide as well on Bustle UK's Instagram. And that's in partnership with Hatch, who supports small businesses in the UK.
Awesome. Yay. So excited for everyone to check that out. Thank you so much to Nawbo and to Bustle and to Pink Moon for joining us today and for everything that you've done throughout the month. This has been just such an inspirational and wonderful month where I personally learned about so many women-owned businesses. I can't wait to go check out those nude shoes, and I've learned about XXL scrunchies and different florists if you want to brighten up your day. So thank you all so much for joining me for this conversation, and to everyone that tuned in. Have a wonderful day, and remember to celebrate women every day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.